Hey, what's going on, Archons? Welcome to another Patreon supporter video, and this time we got my guy AJ, aka Vaultboy, bringing a fantastically named deck called Balthazar Circle Imp. Love the flavor. And as always, AJ brings me a puzzle that I have to solve. And this one stumped me for a little bit because I don't know if you can see, but there's two soul snatchers in here. Dos. Well, I'm not quite sure if this is a red herring or if it's a cornerstone of the deck. I see some really interesting possibilities with it, and I'm just like, I don't know, because this is something he would do is have a card like that, and then but really it's a red herring and you're not supposed to play it, or it could be one that's like the cornerstone of the deck, and I haven't been able to decide just yet which one it is. Now, this obviously has the Restring Guntis, which is just a fantastic card, especially when you got Gubs to protect it if that's the route you're going. I mean, there's a fair decent amount of imps in here, which is pretty cool considering there's imp in the name. Lash is great. Hysteria is great. Hysteria, I think, has no business being used on the disc side of things. I think that card is exclusively wanting to be patient and come out when Helperbot is in the mix, because you got Helperbot, Igor. Those three cards just have fantastic play abilities. So you can use that for that purpose. Yeah, I feel like this getting 2 Ember for every creature you have killed, and there's a lot of annoying creatures here. That, I think, is where it comes into play. Yeah, the Ember Imps reap stun. Yeah, maybe. Okay, I see there's low creature power in this, so I think when you get the Soul Snatchers, you leave the Ember Imps on board so your opponent gets stunned, and I think you're fighting to gain your Ember, if I'm looking at this correctly. So you basically swing your small powered creatures into larger creatures, you gain the Ember, and if they reap with those creatures, they're getting less of a thing. And then you have annoying creatures where if they kill them, you're getting Ember. So I think you're actually trying to hard maul for those soul snatchers right off the get, if I'm reading this correctly. Double knowledge is power. So what I'm seeing here is Archie, Director are all going to work together, and backup copy are all working to do things to get this going. So first off, the knowledge is power are burst cards. I think you're using your archives with the lab works, Archimedes getting Igor's, Helper Bots, Guntises, Charettes, even all of those back into your archives to pull later and gain Ember off of. I think that's where we're going with this. Yeah, the Director seems fairly important. Yeah, the backup Rocket Boots, I feel like exclusively belongs. Well, I mean, you could not backup copy Rocket Boots. Did I say? Oh, my mind's all over the place. Rocket Boots we're talking about. I think this almost exclusively only goes on Umbra. I feel that is the card where you're getting the most value. I mean, you could put obviously on anything, but that's where the value is. But I definitely feel that that Hysteria should not be used unless you're using it in Logos. I don't see any value anywhere else, really. The Dust Chronicles are fine. Oh. Yeah, you want to get the archive card things from that. That's what you really want to use those for. So Life for a Life is basically you getting rid of your... I think you're using Life for a Life like this. So what does it say? Sacrifice a creature. There we go. So you're using it on Archie's neighbors. Hopefully you got an Igor and a Helper Bot there. You're killing your own stuff, gaining 4 Ember, 5 including Life for a Life off your Soul Snatcher. So I really feel the Soul Snatcher theme is huge here. Then you got the Triple Miasma, which are going to just be cards that help you just chill out and bide your time, so to speak. I think you want to get some of those in the art. I feel like you're actually archiving your shadows quite a bit with this deck. I think those are the targets you want. But I guess depending on how you're using your Archie and pulling stuff, that's going to go that way. I love Seismo Entangler. I never really appreciated this card. But when you get them in pairs, I really appreciate this card because you can really hamstring your opponent. But yeah, the way I'm looking at this now is just you're kind of just making sure your creatures can get killed. And I think Hideaway Hole is actually a dead card. I don't know if you want all your creatures to be elusive, because you kind of want to get them killed. Kilt them. You want them to be destroyed so you can get the Soul Snatcher effects. Yeah, I'm just really liking the way you gotta lay out this deck. I think it's a really combo heavy deck. I think you gotta take your time, and it's got the cool bursts happening with Knowledge's Power, Soul Snatchers. I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 creatures in disc, so you can really, and they're not big, especially if you throw the Gubs on the outside and wait till next turn. You can have them as 1 power creatures that just go boop boop and you pop them. Gold Key Imp could be a thing. I mean, you're delaying. It looks like the Miasmas and Gold Key are just delay tactics if you get behind to allow yourself to catch up and have that burst potential and get all the other combo pieces in play. Lights Out as well, just annoying. I think it's a nuisance card. If your opponent has small creatures, bounce them so they don't get that. Or creatures with abilities you need to stymie out. It's a really interesting deck. Lemindra. I mean, aside from putting this next to Restringuntis to make it elusive so you can't just swing into it, I don't like things being elusive in this deck. I kind of, if the Soul Snatchers, maybe if you at a certain time you don't have the Soul Snatchers, you need to delay. Yeah, but I think you want your stuff to be targeted, to be taken out, gain that Ember off of it. It also makes your opponent, like, the Ember Imp versus Soul Snatcher issue that you proposed to your opponent, I think is so incredibly interesting, because they gotta be like, well, I can either destroy the Ember Imp and they go into check, or I can reap and my creature's stunned, and it just creates such a annoying nuisance of a proposition for your opponent. I feel like this deck is incredibly annoying to play against. Whew. I'm excited to test this out, so be sure to tune in on stream and see, because this deck is neat, super neat. Like, I'm hoping I can pull off the Archive Burst and the Soul Snatcher combos, and again, Lash, just to make things even more annoying. So let's see how this works. Hopefully my opponent doesn't have like some stupid Destroy All Artifact card and it doesn't get to happen, or else I have to play the deck again. But yeah, this is a neat one. I'm a fan of this deck and the cerebral aspects to it. I love decks that have a sequencing. Obviously, you could have feels bad's moments with your draws, but I feel like it's got a decent enough efficiency that you should be able to work it out. Director is a very important card, and I think Archimedes is as well. So let's see what happens. Thanks, folks, and as always, may your ember never be stolen and your keys forged promptly. Have a good one.